Padmasambhava, or Padmakara, means lotus-born, which refers to Guru Rinpoche's birth from a lotus in the land of Oddiyana. Guru Rinpoche, the precious master, is the founder of Tibetan Buddhism and the Buddha of our time. Whereas Buddha is known primarily for having taught the teachings of the sutra vehicle, Padmasambhava came into this world, and to Tibet in particular, in order to teach the tantras. While Buddha Shakyamuni exemplifies the Buddha principle, the most important element in the sutrayana path, Padmasambhava personifies the Guru principle, the heart of Vajrayana Buddhism, and he is therefore known as the second Buddha. In the northwestern part of the land of Oddiyana, on an island in the lake of Dhanakosha, the blessings of all the Buddhas took shape in the form of a multicolored lotus flower. Moved by compassion at the suffering of sentient beings, the Buddha Amitabha sent out from his heart a golden Vajra, marked with the syllable Shri, which descended onto the lotus blossom. It transformed into an exquisitely beautiful 8-year-old child, endowed with all the major and minor marks of perfection, and holding a Vajra and a lotus. At that moment all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, together with hundreds of thousands of dakinis from different celestial realms, invoked the blessings and the incarnation of all the Buddhas for the benefit of beings and the flourishing of the secret mantra teachings. Their invocation is known as the 7 verses of the Vajra, or the 7-line prayer. It is said that his birth took place in either an earth monkey or wood monkey year, on the 10th day of the waxing moon in the monkey month. As Guru Rinpoche was born within the lotus flower, upon the waters of the lake, the dakinis called out to him from their hearts, and their call spontaneously became the Vajra Guru mantra. So this mantra is his heart mantra, his life core, his heart essence, and to recite it is to invoke his very being. It happened that at that time, the king of Oddiyana, Indrabhuti, as a result of his immense generosity to the poor and needy of his country, had finally emptied his treasury. In addition, he had no heir to succeed him as ruler, and his sight had failed him, so he had set out on a voyage on the lake of Dhanakosha to find a wish-fulfilling jewel. As he returned with the jewel, he encountered the amazing child, and questioned him about his parents, his family line, his name and country, his sustenance, and what he was doing there. The boy sang his reply in an enchanting voice. My father is the pure awareness of Rigpa, Samantabhadra. My mother, the space of all things, Samantabhadri, my line. The indivisibility of awareness and space, my name, the glorious Lotus-born. My homeland, the unborn Dharmadhatu, my sustenance. Consuming dualistic thoughts, my destiny, to accomplish the actions of the Buddhas of past, present, and future. Guru Padmasambhava, from a set of thankas depicting his 8 manifestations, Indrabhuti took him back to the kingdom and installed him as the crown prince. At different points in his life, Guru Rinpoche is known by different names. Now he was known as Pemajungné, Padmakara or Padmasambhava, the Lotus-born, as well as Tsoki Dorji, Lake-born Vajra. Padmasambhava married the Dakini Prabhavati and ruled the kingdom according to the Dharma, ushering in a time of happiness and peace. He was known then as King Tortikan, the Turban King. Seeing that as a ruler he would be enabled truly to serve others and bring them spiritual benefit on a vast scale, he begged for permission to abdicate, but was refused. So Padmasambhava employed a skillful device in order to escape. Perceiving that a harmful minister's son was just on the point of dying and being reborn in the lower realms, he dropped his trident while dancing on the palace roof and it caused the death of the child, who was liberated and reborn in a Buddha realm. Padmasambhava was banished and roamed in the Chili Grove, Chitavana charnel ground, and then in the other charnel grounds, Joyous Grove and Sasadvipa. There, he received empowerments and blessings from the Dakinis, tamer of Mara and sustainer of bliss, and practiced yogic disciplines, bringing the Dakinis of the charnel grounds under his sway. The name he was known by was Shantarakshita, preserver of peace. He subdued Nagas of the oceans and planetary spirits of the heavens. Wisdom Dakas and Dakinis granted him supernatural powers and siddhis, and he was known as Dorj Drakpot Saul, wrathful Vajra might. At the Vajra seat in Bodh Gaya, he displayed miracles, acknowledging he was a self-manifested Buddha, and then he went to the land of Zahar, although Padmasambhava was a fully enlightened Buddha. He appeared as a Nirmanakaya manifestation to tame and teach beings in this age, and so for their benefit he acted as if receiving teachings, accomplishing the practice, and passing through the various stages of spiritual realization, one by one. Some accounts tell how in Vajrayana he was ordained by the Buddha's closest disciple, Ananda. Others say he took ordination from Prabhasti in Zahar, and was given the name Shakyasanj, Lion of the Shakyas. He received the teachings on Yoga Tantra from him 18 times, and experienced pure visions of the deities. Then he received empowerment from the wisdom Dakini Kangamo, also known as Kandroma Leki Wangmo, who transformed him into a syllable hung, swallowed him, and passed him through her body and out through her secret lotus, granting him outer, inner, and secret empowerments, and purifying the 3 obscurations. From the 8 Vidyadharas at Dech Sekpa, he received the teachings on the 8 great sadhanas of Kagi, from Buddhagya the teachings on the secret essence Tantra, and from Sri Sangha the teachings of Jopa Shenpo. Padmasambhava would master a teaching the first time he encountered it, and experienced visions of deities without needing to practice, attaining the first Vidyadhara level, the stage of the Vidyadhara level of maturation or Vidyadhara with karmic residue. Guru Rinpoche was known as Loden Choks, wise seeker of the sublime. Returning to Zahar, Padmasambhava took the royal princess Mandarava as his consort, and they then went to the Martika cave, where for 3 months they practiced the sadhana of longevity. The Buddha of limitless life, Amitayus, appeared, empowered them with longevity, and blessed them as inseparable from him. They both accomplished the second Vidyadhara level, Vidyadhara with mastery over life. The king of Zahar and his ministers arrested Guru Rinpoche and Mandarava and burned him alive, but he transformed the pyre into a lake and was found sitting, cool and fresh, on a lotus blossom in its center. This lake is considered to be the Rewalser Lake, Sopema, in the present-day Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. Overcome with remorse and in homage, the king offered Padmasambhava his entire kingdom, beginning with his garments and his 5 royal robes. In paintings and statues, Guru Rinpoche is portrayed wearing the clothing of the king of Zahar. For example, the head offered by the king is called the lotus, which liberates on sight, or the patal hat of the 5 families. Its inner and outer layers symbolize the unity of generation and completion phases, its 3 points the 3 kayas, its 5 colors the 5 kayas working for the benefit of beings, the sun and moon skillful means and wisdom. Its blue border unlimited samaya, the Vajra top unshakable concentration, and the vulture's feather, the realization of the highest view, and the culmination of the practice. Guru Rinpoche taught the king and the subjects of Zahart, and many attained realization. With Mandharava, he then returned to Oddiyana but was recognized and burned on a sandalwood pyre. After some time, they were found seated on a lotus in a lake of sesame oil, wearing a garland of skulls as a symbol of their liberating all beings from samsara through compassion. Padmasambhava was now known as Pemajungné, the powerful Lotus-born with a garland of skulls. For 13 years Padmasambhava and Mandharava remained to teach in Oddiyana, as a result of which the king, queen, and many others attained realization and the rainbow body. Then Padmasambhava was known as Padma Rajapamagyapo, the lotus-born king, manifesting himself as the monk Indrasena. It is said that Padmasambhava inspired the great king, Ashoka 3rd century BC, to have faith in the Buddha Dharma. After defeating various anti-Buddhist rulers, Guru Rinpoche was poisoned but remained unharmed, and he was thrown in the Ganges, but made the river flow upstream and danced in the air, therefore earning the name of Kyu Konding Tsal, Whitey Youth, soaring in the sky like a Garuda. He manifested as a number of great siddhas, such as Sarora, Saraha, Dambhiharika, Virupa, and Krishna Chariot, in charnel grounds like Kulajakpa. Perfected in body, he taught the secret mantra to Dakinis and made outer and inner spirits into protectors of the Dharma. He was then known as Naima Ozer, Rays of the Sun, Padmasambhava Challenge, and defeated 500 upholders of wrong views in debate at Bodh Gaya. He reversed their magic with the aid of a wrathful mantra, given him by the lion-faced Dakini Marajita. He was known as Senj Dradak, the lion's roar. Then at Yankulsho, present-day Pharping in Nepal, he practiced the sadhana of Yangdakarika with the consort Shakyadevi, daughter of a king of Nepal. Powerful spirits caused a 3-year drought, with famine and disease, and Padmasambhava asked his teachers in India for a teaching to counter them. 2 men returned, laden with the tantras and commentaries of Vajrayana, and the moment they arrived, the obstacles were pacified. Guru Rinpoche and Shakyadevi both attained the 3rd Vidyadhara level, Vidyadhara of the Great Seal or Mahamudra. Guru Rinpoche recognized that Yangdik is like a merchant engaging in trade. The achievement can be great, but so can the obstacles, whereas Vajrayana is like an armed escort. He is needed to guard against obstacles and overcome them. He then composed sadhanas of Yandik and Vajrayana combined, and bound the guardians of Vajrayana to protect the teachings. As for the Dzogchen teachings, it is said that Padmasambhava met Garib Dorje in a pure vision, and he also received the Nyingtic teachings from Manjushrimatra. As Nyoshulkan Rinpoche explains in his History of the Natural Jopa Shenpo, Marvelous Garland of Rare Gems, Guru Rinpoche traveled to the Parashikavana, charnel ground, where Sri Sangha granted him the teachings of the 3 classes of mind, space, and pith instructions. After granting him the outer, inner, and secret cycles, Sri Sangha conferred on Padmasambhava the teachings of the innermost unsurpassed cycle of pith instructions, the Khandro Nyingtic, along with all the tantras and instructions. He stayed for 25 years, receiving and contemplating on this teaching. Subsequently, he went to the Sasadvipa charnel ground and practiced for 3 years, obtaining an enlightened body that was like the reflection of the moon in water, not subject to birth or death. He attained the rainbow body of great transference, in which form he later went to Tibet. In this subtle light body, great masters such as Padmasambhava and Vimalamitra can remain, without dissolving into the Dharmakaya, for as long as there is service to perform for sentient beings. Guru Padmasambhava visited lands and kingdoms all over Asia, including Mongolia, China, and Shangzhung, where he manifested as Tevaricha to teach the hearing lineage of Dzogchen in the Bon tradition, which led many to enlightenment and the rainbow body. In this way, Jamgon Kongtrul writes, Padmasambhava's activity for leading people to the path of liberation, through appearing in various places and in various forms, and speaking various languages, is indeed beyond all measure. Now the 37th king of Tibet, Trisong Detsen, had invited the great Pandita Shantarakshita, also known as Khenpo Bodhisattva, to establish Buddhism in his country. The author of the famous Ornament of the Middle Way, Madhyama Kalakar, and Compendium on Reality, Tattva Samgra, Shantarakshita began teaching in Tibet and laid the foundations for Samye Monastery. This provoked the local spirits, who embarked on a campaign of disastrous disease, floods, storms, hail, famine, and drought, and whatever construction work was done at Samye during the day was dismantled at night. Shantarakshita urged the king to invite Padmasambhava, and he dispatched envoys under the leadership of Nanam Dorje Dudjom with his prescience. Guru Rinpoche knew already of their mission, and had gone to meet them at Manjul, between Nepal and Tibet. According to Kyabji Dudjom Rinpoche, it was in the Iron Tiger year 810 that Padmasambhava came to Tibet. It is said that he was then over 1,000 years old. On the way to central Tibet, he began to subjugate the local spirits and made them take oaths to protect the Dharma and its followers. He met the king at the tamarisk forest at Red Rock, and then went to the top of Mount Hepri and brought all the gods and demons of Tibet under his command. Glorious Samye, the inconceivable, the unchanging, spontaneously accomplished temple was then built without any hindrance, completed within 5 years, and consecrated, amidst miraculous and auspicious signs, by Padmasambhava and Shantarakshita. There then began a vast undertaking, an extraordinary wave of spiritual activity in Tibet. Vimalamitra and other great scholars and masters, 108 in all, were invited. Padmasambhava, Shantarakshita, and Vimalamitra gave teachings, and then worked with Tibetan translators, such as Vairocana, Kawa Paltsek, Chakra Lua Gyaltsen, and Chiang Yishdi, to translate the sutras, tantras, and treatises into Tibetan. The first 7 Tibetan monks were ordained into the Sarvastivadin lineage, and this was the time when the 2 sanghas, the monastic, celibate sangha of monks and nuns, and their community of lay tantric practitioners, came into being in Tibet. And Vairocana and Namkhe Nyingpo were dispatched to India to receive teachings on Dzogchen from Sri Singha and on Yangdik from Hunkara, respectively. At King Trisong Detsen's request, Padmasambhava opened the mandala of the Vajrayana teachings in the caves of Chemphu above Samye to the 25 disciples, headed by the King Trisong Detsen, Yishsojil, and Vairocana. 9 of the 25 attained siddhis. Through practicing the sadhanas he transmitted to them. It is said that he convened them in 3 great gatherings to teach the Kegi Deshek Dupa, the Lama Gongdik, and the Kaduchoki Gyatso. Guru Rinpoche and his closest disciple Yishsojil traveled all over Tibet and the Himalayas, and blessed and consecrated the entire land, especially the 20 snow mountains of Ngari, the 21 sadhana places of Yu and Sang, the 25 great pilgrimage places of Dakam, the 3 hidden lands, 5 ravines, 3 valleys, and 1 region. Guru Padmasambhava made many prophecies about the future, and, together with Yishsojil, concealed countless Dharma teachings in order to prevent the destruction of the teachings of the secret Mantrayana, avoid corruption of the Vajrayana or its alteration by intellectuals, preserve the blessing, and benefit future followers. For each of these Dharma treasures, he predicted the time for its revelation. The identity of the revealer, and those who would receive and hold the teachings. At 13 different places called Tiger's Lair, Taksang, Guru Rinpoche manifested in the terrifying wrathful form of crazy wisdom, binding worldly spirits under oath to protect the Dharma treasures and serve the Dharma. Then he was named Dorji Drolo, while wrathful Vajra. At Shyoto Tidro in the Drikang Valley, the great Guru transmitted the teachings of Jopa Shenpo, the innermost, unsurpassed cycle of the category of pith instructions, and the Khandro Nyingtik, to a single human disciple, Yishsojil, and 100,000 wisdom dakinis. Later, at Chimfu, when Trisong Detsen's daughter, the Princess Pemajungné, died at the age of 8, Padmasambhava drew a red syllable on her heart, summoned her consciousness, restored her to life, and gave her the transmission of the Nyingtik teachings, soon after which she passed away. Yishsojil concealed the teachings as Dharma, and centuries later, Pemasul's incarnation, the Master Pema Ladrelsal, revealed the Khandro Nyingtik cycle. His next rebirth was as the omniscient Longchen Rabjam. After the death of Trisong Detsen, Padmasambhava stayed on in Tibet into the reign of his successors, but he knew that the Rakshasa cannibal demons, inhabiting the southwestern continent of Chamarangayab, were set to invade and destroy India, Nepal, and Tibet, and if not subdued, they would sweep the earth and destroy all human life. So, after 55.5 years in Tibet, in the Wood Monkey year 864, Guru Rinpoche prepared to leave and went, accompanied by the young King Mudik Tsipo and a large gathering of disciples, to the pass of Gongthang in Manjul. They implored him to stay, but he refused. He gave final teachings and instructions to each of them, and then, on the 10th day of the monkey month, left for the land of Ngayabling in the southwest, and for his manifested Pure Land on Zangdokpuri, the copper-colored mountain of glory. The many accounts of his life vie in their beauty when they come to describe his departure. The Zanglingma biography says that after giving his final instructions, Padmasambhava mounted a beam of sunlight and in the flicker of a moment soared away into the open sky. From the direction of the southwest, he turned his face to look back and to set forth a light ray of immeasurable loving kindness had established the disciples in the state of non-return, accompanied by a cloud-like throng of dakinis, outer and inner. And amid the sound of the music they were offering, he went to the southwestern continent of Ingab. But different people had different perceptions of his departure. Some saw him leaving in swirling clouds of colored light mounted on a divine horse. Others saw him riding a lion. In some accounts, the 25 disciples in their meditation watched him receding in the sun's rays, first the size of a raven, then a dove, a sparrow, a bee, and finally a tiny speck that disappeared from sight. They saw him alighting in the land of the Rakshasas and teaching them the Dharma. On the peak of the copper-colored mountain, Padmasambhava liberated the king of the Rakshasas, Rakshathatring, and assumed his form. Now he dwells in Zandakpuri as a Vidyadhara of spontaneous presence, the fourth Vidyadhara level. There, writes Kyabji Dudjam Rinpoche, he manifested the inconceivable powers of lotus light, and there he presides as king, with one of his emanations in each of the 8 continents of the Rakshasas, giving teachings like the 8 great methods of attainment of the Kagi, and protecting the people of this world of Jambudvipa from fears for their life. Even to this day, he reigns as the regent of Vajradhara. The Vidyadhara was spontaneous accomplishment of the ultimate path, and thus he will remain, without ever moving, until the end of the universe. As regards Guru Rinpoche's disciples, Jamgon Kongtrul lists the original 21 disciples, the intermediate 25 disciples, and the later 17 and 21 disciples. Apart from his 25 most famous disciples, the king and subjects, Guru Rinpoche had numerous highly realized female disciples, including the 5 principal consorts, Yishsojil, Mandarava, Shakyadevi, Kalasiddhi, and Tashi Kaidran. Nyoshalkan Rinpoche said, Padmasambhava had 25 close disciples who were the first Mahasiddhas of Tibet, and of these all attained a rainbow body except Trsong Detsen. At Drakyurpa, 80 students all became Mahasiddhas. Attained the rainbow body, 10 never came out of retreat. There were 30 siddhas of Yangzong who all attained realization, 55 Tokten, realized beings of Sheldrick, 25 Dakinis who attained the rainbow body, 7 Yoginas and the 7 siddhas of Sang.